Hey everyone, Data here, and welcome to the NHL 25 career simulation of San Jose Sharks rookie Will Smith. Smith was drafted 4th overall by the Sharks in the 2023 draft, and after spending a year at Boston University where he scored 71 points in 41 games, he made his NHL debut this season in 2024-25, scoring 22 points through 46 games so far at time of recording. Internationally, Smith has also represented the USA at the 2024 World Junior Under-20 Championships, scoring 9 points in 7 games to help the US win gold last year. Dober Prospects describes Smith as a versatile two-way forward with high-end offensive skill and an offensive creator who plays a responsible game away from the puck, who should develop into a reliable top 6 forward in the NHL. Now, will that reality come to pass? We'll find out today as we simulate through his career. And speaking of that sim, a huge thank you goes out to Landon, who completed this sim for us. Drop a thank you for him in the comments, and while you're there, let me know whose career you would like to see simulated next. So with all that said, let's get started. As always, everything in the simulation is completely hands-off, as we'll do nothing but observe how Smith's career unfolds. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on any of our career sims. We've done over 24 of them so far on the channel, as well as our franchise mode series, among our many other videos here on the channel that we have. Leave a like, and let's get started on this career. To kick off Will Smith's rookie season, year number 1, the game has him centering the third line here in San Jose. With Logan Couture being fully healthy, he doesn't quite crack the top 6, but still third line minutes, top 9 minutes for a 19-year-old. That is great. Kovalenko on his left, Luke Kunin on his right. Not the greatest teammates, but he'll try to make do as an 82 overall with medium elite potential and fantastic attributes to boot. 89 deking, 88 puck control, 87 hand-eye and passing for the 4.5-star puck skills, 4-star senses to go along with that, 3-star shooting, 3-star defense, 3.5-star skating, and the weakest part of his game, the 2.5-star physical. On the first year of his entry-level contract, you know what? The San Jose Sharks surprise a lot of people as they finish 20th best in the NHL with a much better record than they'll get in the real world 2024-25 season. They finish above 500 with a 38, 36, and 8 record, just on the outside looking in the Western Conference. And Will Smith has a great rookie season despite the limited ice time. 15 goals and 32 assists, 47 points in a fully healthy 82-game season as a -6. In the real world, with 22 points in 46 games, he's currently on pace for 39. So 47, that's great with less ice time than he's getting in the real world as well. Among all rookies in the NHL, Will Smith finishes 4th as he's only behind Cutter Gauthier, Matvei Michkov, and his teammate Macklin Celebrini. So another thing to be very proud of for Will Smith. And the Sharks have a great offseason as they draft Matthew Schaefer. A lot to be excited about after a 20th place finish, moving into Smith's second season. To begin Will Smith's sophomore season, he's made it into the top 6 here in San Jose as he has grown from an 82 to an 85 overall, now centering the second line for the Sharks with Logan Couture on his left and Fabian Zetterlund on his right. Also growing is his potential from medium elite up to low franchise. That's crazy. Now listed as a second line forward with his 85 overall, 5-star puck skills, 4-star senses, 3.5-star shooting, 3-star defense, 3.5 skating, and now 3-star physical with the 91 deking, the 89 slap shot power, 90 offensive awareness. Let's go! But the Sharks have a down year after finishing 20th in 24-25. In 25-26, they finished 3rd last in the league, 30th place with a record of 32, 42, and 8. Will Smith scores a couple more points playing in a second line role, 15 goals and 34 assists for 49 points as a -14. Some really tough plus minuses as Will Smith stays healthy for a full 82-game season once again. Check out the ice time though, just 15-22 for him. So you got to be giving him a little bit more after what he showed in his rookie season. In the offseason, the Sharks do get Ethan Belchetz, another good rookie, joining the team, and the Sharks will hope to reset moving into year number 3. Year number 3, and Will Smith continues to grow, but has been moved down in the lineup, as now at an 86 overall, he's grown a superstar ability as well. He's back to centering the third line. Jaden Schwartz on his left and Kovalenko on his right. Will this be better for him as he had success in a third line role before? I don't know. Still the low franchise potential, still the 5-star puck skills, now at 92 deking, 91 puck control, 4-star physical as he has some massive gains over the offseason working with his trainer. In the last year of his entry-level contract, contract, the San Jose Sharks do indeed make the postseason, as they should, finishing 9th best in the league. Great to see a 45, 28, and 9 record to finally be excited for something as a Sharks fan. Will Smith does increase his career highs, okay, 56 points in 79 games, 20 of his points coming on the power play as well. Still a negative player at a -3, but you would think that this year's point total is definitely tied to the ice time not being as high as it should have been. In the postseason, though, the Sharks unfortunately fall early in a 5-game series against the Colorado Avalanche, as the Avs go on to be the Western Conference champions and lose in the Cup final, but the Sharks just make it 5 games. In those 5 games, Smith does go point per game, a goal and 4 assists. That's great to see. And at the end of his entry-level contract, he remains an 86 overall with that low franchise potential. In year number 4 now, Will Smith finally returns to his rightful spot in the top 6 as he grows to an 88 overall and is now centering the second line once more. Musty on his left and Toffoli on his right. Great top line, Celebrini, Eklund, and Zetterlund. Good top 6 for the San Jose Sharks, absolutely. As Smith at an 88 overall still has that one superstar ability, the low franchise potential, and is still listed as a second line forward, with his attributes being the highest they've been so far. Everything at least 3.5 stars or higher. The 5-star physical, it was once the weakest part of his game, now one of the strongest parts of his game, with the 93 deking and all that surrounding it. He signs an interesting contract here, 4 years at $5.555 million, giving him a total of $22.22 million. So as the number 2, he signs for $22.22 million. I find that really funny, so that's great. Will Smith signed on for 4 more years, but the Sharks, after making the postseason last year, fall apart, finishing 26th in the league in Will Smith's 4th season, going 33, 44, and 5. I don't have Will Smith's numbers in relation to the rest of his team, but we do know that he scored 24 goals and 36 assists over the course of the year, a 60-point season, once again increasing his career high, but I don't know why the ice time is not higher than under 17 minutes per night. Year number 5 now, and Will Smith remains at an 88 overall after putting up that 60-point season, still centering the second line in San Jose with Musty on his left, but now with 80 overall Ryan Hartman on his right. Will that be detrimental? We'll find out. Still low franchise potential, but now listed as a first line forward. Great for him. Here are his attributes moving into year number 5. And the San Jose Sharks have a better season, but still are on the outside looking in as they finish 21st in the NHL with a 38, 38, and 6 record, finishing at 500. Will Smith finishes 1 point below last year, 21 goals, 38 assists, and 59 points in 80 games played. Even plus minus, at least there's that, as the plus minus hasn't been great in his career so far. There's Hartman with 43 points, Musty with 39 points, just players that don't seem to be simulating well enough. Ice time still low at just 17-11 per night, but he finishes his 5th season still at an 88 overall and having only 1 postseason entry so far. Year number 6 is an interesting one for Will Smith as he begins the season centering the second line once again as always. Similar makeup as last season, now with Sean Monahan at an 85 on his left and Nicolas Aubé-Kubel at a 79 on his right. Okay. His attributes still look great. I don't think anything has really changed too much, but this Sharks team with a 79 overall in their top 6, to really no one's surprise, doesn't do super well. Not only not making the postseason, but finishing 3rd last in the league. 30th place with a record of 27, the second lowest amount of wins in the NHL, 27, 46, and 9. Now look at this for the point totals, as William Eklund had 63 and 57 and he was injured, and Celebrini had 56 and 60, he was also injured. So 2 first-line players for the Sharks went down due to injury, missing over 20 games each. Will Smith was promoted to a first-line role for believe the majority of those games. 16 goals, 42 assists, 58 points in 80 games, a -19 himself, averaging more ice time finally only due to those injuries, close to 20.5 minutes of ice time per night, but it didn't quite work out for the Sharks, who once again fail miserably. All right, year number 7 now, and Will Smith has finally done enough to get himself to the first line here in San Jose, as he will finally be playing alongside Macklin Celebrini and William Eklund, 93, 90, and 88 overall line, finally. Still listed as a first line forward, still low franchise potential, still 88 overall now at 25 years of age, second to last year of his contract. Should be a much better year for the Sharks, and it is, but it's still not enough as they finish 18th place in the NHL. their second best finish with Will Smith so far. 41, 35, and 6 was their record, but still on the outside looking in as they miss out, and the Leafs below them make it, so a weaker Eastern Conference, just the curse of being in a stronger Western Conference, I suppose. 49 points in 66 games for Will Smith as he misses 18 games due to injury, but still, just 49 points, finally getting the first line minutes, playing 20-47 of ice time per night, and he just doesn't really deliver. Man. So after 7 seasons, Will Smith has made the postseason once and will be moving into the final year of his contract. Year number 8, and the Sharks are running back the same first line here in San Jose, Eklund, Celebrini, and Smith, but now Will Smith has grown to an 89 overall and has 2 other superstar abilities, now giving him a total of 3. So this should be the best first line that the Sharks have had in a while, at least overall and chemistry-wise. This should be a good performance. Will Smith grows in overall, but falls in potential, not only down to elite, but down to low elite. So his trajectory so far in his career has been medium elite, low franchise, low elite. At 26 years of age, it doesn't really matter that much, but still interesting to note. 5-star puck skills with a 95 deking, 94 puck control, 93 passing and hand-eye. Underrated defense, as it's at 3.5 stars due to the awareness being down, I suppose, but 85 shot blocking, 94 stick checking, 5-star physical. And my apologies, I misunderstood Will Smith's contract. He actually had an extension year tacked on to his $5.555 million deal. I thought there was one more year of that contract. No, that 4-year deal had expired, and it was actually a 1-year extension tacked on at the end that I had misunderstood. So Will Smith this season is playing under a 1-year extension at $11.275 million. Crazy numbers for him. It makes sense with the overall that he has, but can he put up the numbers to back it up? The Sharks can't. We know that, as they finished 26th place in the NHL. Another letdown, going 37, 38, and 7. Finishing at the bottom of the league. Will Smith, though, does deliver on his contract as he plays a fully healthy 82 games and scores 20 goals and 52 assists for a career-high 72 points, finishing second in team scoring. That's fantastic. He played close to 21 minutes per night, now the exact elite potential at 27 years of age moving into the offseason. But will he extend further than that 1-year contract that he just signed for this past year? Let's see what the 2032 offseason has in store. Year number 9, and Will Smith is staying in San Jose as he signs a big 7-year extension in the offseason, $9.88 million per year, paying him a total of $69.16 million with a full no-move clause throughout the entire deal. So a bit of a team-friendly deal that the dollars came down due to the no-movement clause, as he had just signed for $11.275 for 1 year, but now $9.88 over the course of 7 years. Interesting. He'll be playing first-line minutes with Eklund and now Kirill Kaprizov, who signed a 1-year deal with the Sharks. All right, at a 94 overall. Celebrini bumped down to the second line. Smith with Eklund and Kaprizov. Let's get excited for this with that new contract as well. San Jose, let's do it! And it's once again an improvement, but not enough. 15th place, the Sharks finish in 2033, going 41, 36, and 5. Look at Utah even, for example. 94 points, 44 wins on the outside looking in, as 8 of the top 10 teams in the NHL come from the Western Conference. Incredible. Will Smith has a new career high in points. Apologies, Landon mentioned that he didn't capture the entire team scoring, but Will Smith did have a career high in scoring, 23 goals, 60 assists, 83 points in 82 games, going above a point per game with that new extension, finishing second in team points to Kirill Kaprizov, who scored 52 goals and 96 points in 82 games, but somehow it wasn't enough for the Sharks. So Will Smith, 60 assists, playing 1945 of ice time per night. He clicked super well with Kirill Kaprizov, but it just wasn't enough in a stacked Western Conference. Year number 10 has good news and bad news for Will Smith, as the good news is that he's now centering the first line in San Jose. Woohoo, get excited. But the bad news is that Kirill Kaprizov, after scoring 50-plus goals last year and being his great line mate, retires at just 36 years of age, or I should say now 37 once the offseason came around. But still, so Will Smith, yes, he's centering the first line. Now it's Celebrini on his left and Travis Konechny on his right. All right, 90 overall, first line forward, elite potential. They're the attributes as always. He has the skilled up, quick draw, spinorama, ankle breaker, and puck on a string superstar abilities, now giving him a total of 5 for the first time in his career. Let's get something going with all those superstar abilities, the star power, the overalls, the chemistry. And the Sharks finish 18th in the NHL, going 40, 33, and 9 to still miss out on the postseason, as Will Smith has only made one first-round appearance through 10 seasons in San Jose. Will Smith still finishes second in team scoring, not quite point per game plus, but 24 goals and 49 assists for 73 points as a -4 in 82 games. Playing a lot of ice time, though, at 22:14 time on ice per game, a career high there. At this point, with Eklund gone from the lineup, it's not Smith, it's not Celebrini. The Sharks have to spend some big money somewhere. Kaprizov did great. Go out and do that again, just on a player who's not about to retire. The Smith and Celebrini show continues into year number 11 as the duo remains upon the top line here in San Jose. Smith, though, now down from a 90 to an 89 overall, has been moved to the left wing, and Celebrini is back at first line center as they're now joined on the right wing by Cardwell at an 85 overall. Smith at an 89, still a first line forward with all of his fantastic attributes, 5-star physical, 5-star puck skills, etc. But the Sharks, why are we even going to fool ourselves, finish 28th and are once again a laughingstock, going 35, 40, and 7 to finish near the bottom of the league once more. Will Smith scores just 59 points in an 80-game season. In a year in which he averaged 21:43 of ice time, I'm not exactly sure on all the numbers, that might be the lowest point total he's ever had when given that much ice time. 59 points in 80 games, playing 21:43 per night. There's not much else to say. Sam Steele's third in your team scoring. Got Ylonen at a 78 overall, like 6th in your team scoring. It's a joke here at this point. Okay, for year number 12, the Sharks finally take my advice, and for once there's something to be excited about in San Jose, as Smith has now moved to the first line right wing, Celebrini to the left wing, and centering the top line here in San Jose will be Matthias Sjögren, who was the second overall pick of Pittsburgh in 2027. He's coming off of a 92-point season, and he's signed long-term with the Sharks. Let's see if that'll do something, as Will Smith at an 89 overall still has all of his attributes as we've seen as of late, but he's now finally playing with two elite line mates. So could that be enough to take the Sharks to the postseason? Finally! No, it's not, and it's not even close, as the Sharks finish 25th in the league, cursed by EA, going 38, 42, and 2 to once again be in the basement of the league. Will Smith, with all that I just said about the line mates and everything, scores 63 points in 79 games as a -4, as even Sjögren scores just 68 points. Celebrini's 62 and 82. There's nothing to say at this point. There's truly nothing to say. Will Smith puts up those numbers while still averaging 21.5 minutes of ice time. He's finally getting all the ice time he's ever wanted in his whole life, but it's all for naught. Year number 13, and the Sharks are mixing up their first line, as Will Smith will now play center and Sjögren will play on the right wing. He's down to an 89 overall. Celebrini on the left, also an 89. And of course, Smith himself at an 89 overall. Still with his 5 superstar abilities, the elite potential, listed as a first line forward. Attributes are what they've always been. That's great. Will it mean anything? No, it won't. Let's not waste our time here with all the hype up that I'm always doing, as the Sharks finish third last in the NHL with a record of 29, 43, and 10. Nothing to say at this point. This sim is just a joke. And Will Smith scores 39 points in 56 games, as he misses a lot of time due to injury, but is on pace for just 57 points. Granted, that would put him second in team scoring, but look at Sjögren, 50 points in 72 games. This guy was a 90-plus point player, comes to San Jose, and he's just cursed. So this sim truly just hated the Sharks. I don't know what to tell you. Will Smith in those 56 games played 21-15 on average, and hey, it's another lost season. I don't know what to say. Year number 14, and Will Smith is still centering the top line here in San Jose. Hard to get excited about much, but hey, Celebrini on the left, Sjögren on the right. Who knows what EA voodoo magic will come our way this year. 89 overall, still all the same attributes as always. And you know what's interesting about this season? In his 14th year with the Sharks, Will Smith is now named the captain of the organization. So I suppose Celebrini wasn't captain. It must have been someone on defense, because nothing really changed with major forwards aside from Eklund. That was years ago now, though. So Will Smith, to begin year number 14, named captain of the Sharks organization, and he captains the team to a second to last place finish. Not 32nd, but 31st, as the Sharks go 27, 45, and 10, finishing with the least amount of wins in the National Hockey League. Will Smith can be proud of that one. 59 points in 81 games played, -5 as well. What is going on? Playing 20-21 of ice time per night. I'm at a loss for the captain now. Here we go, year number 15, the final year of the big 7-year extension that Will Smith signed way back when. His 15th year here in San Jose. He's had one first-round appearance through 14 years. Could year number 15, his second as captain, be magic? Let's find out. He's first-line right wing, Celebrini centering with Sjogren on the left. The Sharks continue to mix up the first-line positions, but look at the rest of this lineup here. You got an 86 on your second line, and everyone else is between a 79 at an 83. Where is the money going? I don't know. 89 overall, still the same attributes as always. He continues to be the same player, but for some reason he can't score more than like 56 points. The final year of his contract, again, there's with the no movement clause, and bang! The Sharks make the postseason! There's a surprise for you. You weren't expecting that, were you? Surprise! The Sharks, yes, finally make the postseason for just the second time in Will Smith's 15 years in San Jose. The Sharks finished 13th place in the NHL, going 44, 31, and 7, and are off to the dance as Will Smith, boom, out of nowhere, scores 70 points, finally. 25 goals and 45 assists, 70 points in a fully healthy 82-game season, and hey, a plus 24. That might be the craziest part of this entire season for him. What a year from Will Smith. They're off to the postseason! And they once again fall in 5 games of round 1, as Will Smith has now seen 10 postseason games, as Will Smith has now won 2 postseason games in 15 years, as they lose in 5 to the Oilers, who then sweep their way to the Western Conference Final, and lose to the Hawks, who lose to the Rangers. I don't have the team scoring, but I do see Will Smith in those 5 games had 0 points, averaging 1 second shy of 24 minutes of ice time per night, as a -1 scored a grand total of 0 points in 5 games. After 15 years and 2 first-round exits, will the captain come back for more moving into the 2039 offseason? We'll find out. No, sir. Moving into year number 16, Will Smith has decided to leave the San Jose Sharks in unrestricted free agency and signs a 1-year deal with the Tampa Bay Lightning, a full no-movement clause paying him $9.97 million, pretty much almost the exact same deal that he had in San Jose, as he joins the Lightning to play first-line center, now down to an 87 overall at 34 years of age, but he has an 89 overall on his left and a 90 overall on his right. Look at the star power finally, and a decent top 6 with 84s and 86s in here as well. At an 87 overall, Will Smith now has dropped down to having top 6 potential. Still 5-star puck skills, but everything else starting to drop very slightly. Not everything, but a few attributes dropping off a little bit here and there. Still the 5-star physical, skating down to 3 stars, but still playing first-line minutes on a solid line here in Tampa Bay. And it doesn't mean much as per usual, as the Lightning finished 27th in the NHL, going 37, 39, and 6, as Will Smith's drought of postseasons continues. Now 2 appearances through 16 years. He does play a fully healthy 82-game season, but somehow is cursed, as he scores just 59 points, and his 90 overall line mates score 59 and 65 points respectively. So I don't know what to say, honestly. Will Smith does get a lot of ice time, averaging 22-12 of ice time per night, but with that 1-year contract expired, will he want to run it back in Tampa Bay? We'll find out. And Smith does indeed move on, headed into year number 17, as in the 2040 offseason, he leaves Tampa Bay and signs with the St. Louis Blues at 85 overall and 35 years of age. Smith signs a 2-year deal with St. Louis, no clauses attached, but paying him $9.845 million per year, making just shy of $20 million at 19.69. Despite his age and overall, he's still getting to center the top line on a team, so he has an 85 on his left and an 86 on his right, as at an 85 himself, he still has top 6 potential, now listed as a second line forward. The individual attributes are dropping slightly, but still the 5-star puck skills. Physical at 4.5 stars, senses at 4, shooting and defense at 3.5, and skating at 3. As the St. Louis Blues, with Will Smith as their first-line center, make the postseason and finish 10th place in the NHL. Let's go, as St. Louis goes 44, 33, and 5 to give Will Smith just his 3rd postseason appearance in 17 years. As first-line center, Will Smith scores 21 goals and 38 assists for 59 points in 81 games. Once again, somehow he's a part of these teams that just can't score. I would say the majority of Will Smith's seasons have seen him be on a team where the leading point scorer has under 70 points. It is incredible. Will Smith is injured moving into the postseason. It's a playable injury with a sore foot, so hopefully he'll be able to find some ice time. And in the postseason, get ready to be smacked across the face as the St. Louis Blues, yes, win the first round, the first woohoo round win of Will Smith's 17-year NHL career, but then they lose in 6 to the Blackhawks, who get swept by the Sharks, who go on to win the 2041 Stanley Cup. 2 years removed from being in San Jose, Will Smith's old team, the Sharks, who had 2 postseason appearances, just 2 postseason game wins, and 0 round victories over 15 years, they go and win the 2041 Stanley Cup without Will Smith. Like I said, a smack across the face, as Smith finally makes it out of a playoff round, but loses in round 2 to the Blackhawks. Smith played in all 12 games and scored just 1 goal and 4 assists, 5 points, even plus minus, through those 12 games, playing just 13:37 of ice time. So once he came back from injury, as now an 83 overall, moving into year number 18, he was given less ice time, and the attributes now look like this: 4.5-star puck skills, 4-star physical and senses, 3.5 shooting and defense, and 3-star skating. And in the 2041 offseason, Will Smith surprisingly calls it a career. He retires at 36 years of age after 17 NHL seasons. Will Smith makes it out of round 1, loses in round 2, gets moved down the lineup, has an injury, and watches his Sharks, the team that he captained, the team he was on for 15 years, a decade and a half, he watches them go and win the Stanley Cup, and it was just too much for his heart, it looks like, as he calls it a career after 17 NHL seasons. Let's start breaking it all down, as Will Smith retired having played 1,338 NHL games, scoring 330 goals and 684 assists for 1,014 points. He retires as an 83 overall who still had 1 year left on his contract, so he leaves $9.845 million on the table to say, I am done. Here are his finishing attributes at 36 years of age as well. And now here are the career numbers: 15 years in San Jose, 1 year in Tampa, 1 year in St. Louis, ends as a career -19. 601 penalty minutes, he took over 3,300 shots, shooting at exactly 10%. 39 of his goals were game winners, 60 came on the power play, and 171 of his points were on the power play as well. He never scored more than 25 goals. He had one 25-goal season, a bunch of 20-plus goal seasons, but just one 25-goal season. His most assists in a year came in 2033 when he had 60 assists, and that was also his highest point total season of 83 points, just 1 point per game plus season in his career, and 4 seasons of 70-plus points with 6 seasons of 60-plus points. And in the postseason, we already know how much of a joke that was. 22 games played over 17 seasons, scoring 2 goals and 8 assists for 10 points and 1 playoff round victory through it all. And as I always like to do in these career simulations, we'll take these numbers and compare them to the real world record book. Of course, come the 2040s, the records as of 2025 will look very different. But if we were to compare Will Smith's numbers to the record books today, his 1,338 games played would place him 60th all time, ahead of Adam Oates and behind Matt Sundin. His 330 goals would tie him for 184th all time with Wendell Clark, ahead of Zygmunt Palffy and behind Ron Ellis. His 684 assists would put him 67th all time, ahead of Brad Park and behind Henry Richard. And his 1,014 points would put him 96th all time, ahead of Pat LaFontaine and behind Ryan Getzlaf. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the honestly ridiculous career of Will Smith over 17 NHL seasons. Let's break it all down. 17 years playing from 2024 to 2041, making just over $114 million. The majority of his career was spent in San Jose, as he played 15 seasons with the team that drafted him. With the Sharks, he appeared in 1,175 games, scoring 286 goals and 610 assists for 896 points. In the playoffs, he had 2 postseason berths, 10 games played, 2 round 1, game 5 exits, 1 goal, 4 assists, and 5 points in those 10 postseason games after 15 seasons. After those 15 seasons, he goes to Tampa for 1 year, 82 games played, scoring 23 goals and 36 assists for 59 points. No postseason, goes to St. Louis to finish off his career, 1 year appearing in 81 games, scoring 21 goals and 38 assists for another 59-point season. Finally makes the postseason again, makes the second round for the first time in his career. He played plays more postseason games in St. Louis in 1 year than he did in 15 years in San Jose, and even matches his point totals: 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points in those 12 games. Crazy. Giving him a grand total after 17 seasons of 1,338 games played, 330 goals, 684 assists, and 1,014 points. Definitely a respectable career numbers-wise, as he has an 82-game career average of 20 goals, 42 assists, and 62 points per 82 games played. Not bad at all, but again, when you consider his total 17-year total gave him 22 postseason games, 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points. There's a lot that was left to be desired for Will Smith, especially seeing San Jose win the Stanley Cup in year 17 as he was in St. Louis. Just a slap in the face. For his honors, it's hard to know exactly where he would be in San Jose Sharks history, but for example, in games played as of today, he's third all time. He's even more than Joe Thornton. So give a lot of games played and a lot of points to Eklund and Celebrini. Smith likely finishes top 5 in games played, goals, assists, points, all those records for the San Jose Sharks, probably between 2 and 5 in all those records. I don't think he's number 1 in any of them. And he also captained the team from 2037 to 2039, 2 years as captain for years 14 and 15 of his time in San Jose. And that just about does it. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking the time to watch the simulation. Thank you to Landon for doing the sim. Thank you to Palm for the thumbnail. It's a community effort here in the channel, and we'd love to have you join that community. So subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell to be notified when we go live, when we do our career sims, our franchise modes, and leave a comment. 1, what are your thoughts on this sim? Do you think Smith's career is going to go a little bit better than this? I would think that there's at least more playoff appearances in store for him. And second, let me know whose career you would like to see simulated next. We've done over 24 on the channel. Check out the playlist here at the end of the video to see some of the other ones that we've done. Most recently, Axel Sandin Pellikka, Ryan Leonard, big names in the current prospect pool of the NHL, but also ones of the last few years of prospects who are playing in the league now. Bedard, Slavkovsky, Jiricek, Michkov, Gauthier, tons of names. Take a second, check out the playlist. I'm sure that you'd enjoy some other sims. So thanks again for being here. Looking forward to reading your thoughts. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to seeing you once again in the next one for our next career simulation on NHL 25.